I, 25F, don't want to have sex with my 27 meters boyfriend anymore. I, 25F, have lost desire to have sex with my 27M boyfriend who I have been with for a year. I have always had a high sex drive, and in the beginning of our relationship we were having a lot more sex and I truly enjoyed it. The sex has declined in our 2 months of living together. I used to really look forward to having sex with him, but there have been times that I would come on to him. But he has rejected those advances. So I've just completely stopped. When he wants to have sex I'm willing. But at this point it just feels weird being intimate with him now, and I don't really want to have sex with him anymore. It turns me off. It's sad because I love him and sex has always been important to me, but I'm really struggling to find the desire. I feel pathetic at the moment. Any advice on what to do? What have you done? Ask him why he rejected you. It seems like you're internalizing that without knowing why. Girl, I saw this exact post from a girl whose boyfriend was the one with a low sex drive, and the entire comment section was them trying to help her understand him. Not once did someone tell her to leave him or the relationship was over. This is repairable, and you guys have only been together a year, so don't lose hope. You have so much to learn about yourselves and each other, and love is enough. Seems like there are two possible reasons here. One is that you feel rejected, so you put up a wall as a defense mechanism, and two is that you moved into together so you can have sex whenever you want, so the thrill is gone. Or three, are you having financial problems or added strain in other life areas? It's not over. These things happen. It doesn't mean that you need to stop the relationship. It's just that you've gotten used to seeing him around. Eventually you'll have the desire to have sex with him. Just respect your body, and if you want to have sex in the first place, it's not uncommon, I assure you. So many people saying just break up. Lol, this relationship sub is a joke now. I'm in the same boat, but we have been together for almost 5 years. But I'm turned off cause we just argue all the time, and it's like he expects sex after an argument every time now. Lol, there's a lot of things that can affect the libido. Just have the conversation and determine whether or not you both can get past it. I heard a good saying, you don't sell the house just because the boiler has broken. Communication in relationships is the key. Although I am 52 and it took me multiple relationships and 2 marriages to learn that, by the way. Best of luck. Hope you work things out. I mean, it's clear you need to talk to him and tell him how it has made you feel when he rejects you. If y'all don't communicate about this, then you're just going to break up. I won't say the relationship is over like many. I've been married 10 years and with my husband in total 15 years. My sexual desire changes depending on how I feel. Daily life, if I'm stimulated mentally or bored stupid. It sounds cliché, but you truly do have to work together to maintain a relationship. The desire and closeness. Being brutally honest, are you on birth control? I ask because for me it absolutely killed my desire, and libido went from being higher in sex drive to nothing. I love my husband, but I tried various ones. Within 2 weeks of deciding I didn't want to continue using the pill, my desire for my husband and sex went right back up and skyrocketed to like before we got engaged. Even he commented he didn't realize how much birth control impacted me that way. He felt it was a him problem or concerned that I'd fallen out of love. Do you guys still go on dates? Or do you stay at home all the time after work? I found if I was home all the time with my husband and no dates and constantly doing just chores, my desire fluctuated and dropped down the longer we didn't do couple date type things. My husband's weakness is video games. He'd get so immersed and would lose months of time playing that I felt single versus in a relationship. I'm not talking a few hours once a week, I'm talking immediately from getting in till 12 a.m. So didn't do anything but stare or curse at the laptop. Took me and my stepkids having a long talk about his lack of attention to the family's needs to have him present, versus getting a generic I'm playing a game, come back later and tell me with a glassy blank stare. So are either of you actively making or taking timeouts from such habits? It doesn't have to be games, but the same can happen with TVs, phones, laptops, game systems. These are huge time fillers and some don't realize it gets many stuck in a loop of screen staring versus talking. So after that, now we make a plan once, twice a week to do a date day, night, a trip exploring thrift shops or fishing, just driving around and checking out local parks in the area. A movie you can do $5 Tuesday movies at AMC if in the US. It's a great way to talk about movies with your partner. In summer months we work on his vegetable plot. I detest gardening with a passion, but it's a talking point for us both, ideas for different vegetables to grow, what we could do better. My hobby is photography and exploring nature parks and walking, hence making trips to visit new places and explore. I'm just trying to say, for me personality, my sexual desire is linked to how my husband stimulates me mentally and physically. The mental and physical stimulation boosts our moods, gets us away from constantly using a phone as a time filler, and we often really make time to talk. Also amps our sexual desire up a lot. On the rejection sexually, when you initiate it a few times. I'll be honest, I've struggled with this myself. Really, this is a tough area. I rarely reject my husband. I have to be really sick, flu, chest infections, something like that. I've found to really amp my desire, I frankly do some sexting with him while he's working. It works. He's less likely to say no and reject me versus say if I go wanna play when he's home. If I say what I want to do that day. We do not resort to this all the time. It's a once in a while thing, but it clues him in that I want him, period, and what my desires are or what I'd like to try. I wish you luck. It is a normal thing to sometimes get rejected for sex in a relationship. Not everyone is into it and turned on all the time. Sounds like you have some issues around being rejected. I think you need to speak openly with a partner and work on your issues with a counselor. If things aren't turning around, maybe this relationship has run its course. It's definitely time for the two of you to have a "do we end this now" kind of talk. It sounds to me like you are cueing each other that the interest is gone, waiting for the other one to walk away. If neither of you does, however, you're just going to prolong the whatever that is you got. I experienced this with an ex. I wasn't feeling great, so had to turn her down once. And that was the last time she ever tried to initiate sex. It's like she internalized it, and just assumed I wasn't attracted to her anymore, despite me literally trying to initiate the next day. The relationship didn't last long after that. It turns you off that he doesn't always want to have sex with you? Imagine if he just lost all attraction for you sexually just because you didn't feel like having sex a couple times. Maybe he's going through some mental stuff that you could be trying to help him through, rather than only thinking about yourself and how you feel. Firstly, accept that your living arrangements will have changed the dynamic between you, and secondly, don't give up. You need to both make the effort to make time for intimacy. How many times of him rejecting your advances did it take for you to give up? What do you think the reason was at those particular times? I'm actually dealing with something similar currently. Been with my BF for over 2.5 years and have lived together for over a year. At first, we'd be all over each other, having amazing frequent sex. I've always had a higher sex drive than him though. Within the last month, we've been having less and less sex, to the point where I don't initiate anymore because he seems so disinterested in sex half the time. The few times we do have sex, it's almost a turn-off for me because of how awkward I feel during the act. This was solved by me talking to him about it. I told him that I'd appreciate if we can start being a little more intimate again. Even just more kissing and cuddling. He understood, and now we're back to having sex at least 3 times a week. I don't feel awkward in the bedroom anymore. As you both are together longer and get more comfortable with each other, sex becomes less of a priority to some people. This is normal. But if you do want things to change, talking will definitely help. Are you feeling emotionally pursued? It's not untypical for women to feel their sex drive decline when their emotional needs are now being met. I suggest seriously pondering the question, and if your emotional needs are not being met, then speak candidly but with hope for change with him. Wish you the best of luck. Do you guys go out on dates and do fun things together? Although it doesn't feel normal right now, this is completely normal, and a lot of couples go through this. There is nothing wrong with either of you. I feel that you both need to have an open conversation about your sex life. It's important to express how you're currently feeling, and why it's got to this stage. It's also important to hear your partner's reasons. Try not to get upset and defensive during the conversation, and it's okay to take a break and resume the talk once emotions have settled. Moving in together is a shock to the system, and it can create a lot of imbalances that go unrectified and can end up causing resentment. Without talking and hearing about how you both feel, you're not going to be able to sort this out. Also remember that you both love each other and aren't intentionally hurting each other. So if something they say makes you feel that way, take a moment and explain to them how you feel. Sometimes we say things we don't mean, and they can get interpreted wrong. You got this op. Thumbs up. Light skin tone. My husband is 48 years older than me, 35. We have been together 14 years. Last year, his sex drive has dropped quite a bit. Where I swear mine was at its highest, he was rejecting me, and truthfully I felt the same way. Hurt. And when we did have sex, it was awkward. I felt he didn't really want me. I finally had to have a talk with him about how the rejection was making me feel. Now, if I initiate, he does his best to make sure we have sex. There are some times where he does say he's too tired, but I have worked through my own issues and I'm okay with it. Relationships are all about communication and respecting your other half's feelings. Talk to him. Figure out what's going on. I suspect his constant turning you down has made you feel like he is not that attracted to you, and like he is doing you a favor by having sex with you. Not like he is really into you. That is a big turn off. And typical. I suggest you talk about this. It may be that you are not compatible, but it's worth the discussion.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.